everyone, Susan here. All right guys, we're gonna get back to the lace gown project. We're gonna do these layers, all of these layers, and this dress is gonna come together. I'm so excited, and that's what's next. Okay, quickly before I get started, I just want to repeat that my Patreon account is up and running. That's my formal school online with a very low subscription base payment monthly, where you can learn French draping from the start to the finish, as well as if you're more an advanced student, asking me technical questions where I can actually demonstrate the answers in a video format. I'll put the link below it in the description box. Meet me there. Okay, let's get back to this. All right, let's do that now. Here is the sketch again. I wanted to show you that again so you can see what I'm talking about. These are the layers I'm talking about. There's 7 of them, and they're going over, they're doubled layered of the lace that's going to be sewn into each one of these panels underneath. This is the understructure that we did. It's going to be either in my stretch or my rayon lining. Haven't decided yet, but these lace pieces are going to be gathered over and inside of these seams. Refer to vlog 13 on how I started that process, but they're not really gathered a lot. So as you can see in the sketch, so that's going to be a little bit of tricky calculation I'm going to be doing in my head as I do this with you. And I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use 2 different tape measures. So let me show you how that's done first. So we already did this one and this one. Like I said, that was sort of kind of worked out because I wanted to make sure I had enough fabric. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pull up these layers right here. We're going to layer here underneath. So this layer underneath, what we're going to do is we're going to measure this line here because we're doing number 3. And I'm going to just pin it on number 3 just like that. And we're noticing that number 3 is, if you look at this tape measure, a little bit more than about 2 3/8, right, in length. We have to have an overlap in order to hide the seams of the gathered lace, if that makes sense. And I have decided we're going to do a 3/4 of an inch overlap. So on this, I have it down here already at 2 3/8. I'm going to put my second tape measure right at the bottom of that, and I'm going to go what 3/4 of an inch is. And when I measure what 3/4 of an inch is, it's just about 1/8 of an inch more than 3 inches. So it's 3 1/8 inch long. So that makes that simple. Okay, so now we know that we want that finished panel to be 3 inches and 1/8. After I get that, I have to add my 1/2 of an inch seam allowance, which I'm going to add then there, which is going to make it a little bit more than, it'll be 3 5/8. When I get the 3 5/8 measurement, I'm then going to fold that in half like that, and that is where I'm going to get the full width of this panel before it's folded and sewn together. So that means that this panel width is going to have to be 7 1/8 in width. How do I get the length? Okay, so the length is going to be another tricky thing. That's the part that I think I'm going to probably have to do as I'm going along. I'm going to have to measure this seam, right? So this is the width. I'm going to put my measuring tape here, go all the way around this muslin, measure it. If there's fullness, you've got to make sure you put that fullness in. Measure all the way around, and here at the end you have it. It is 18 1/4, right? It's 18 1/4, and that is just 1/2 of the dress. So I'm going to have to fold that 18 1/4, and then I'm getting the measurement for the width, the total width without gathers, and that is 36 1/2 inches, right? After I folded it in half. Now we decided, when I looked at this other one, I was thinking about 9 or 10 inches extra just in gathers. So I'm going to have to add another 9 or 10 inches. So I'm going to go right here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and just to be safe, I'm going to put 10. So I'm going to say 47 1/2, I would say, is what I would want it. And then we have to have behind it, I'm going to have to put a little bit of a seam in there. So I'm saying another maybe 3/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch on both sides. So I would say probably to be safe, I'm going to cut the length of that about 48.5 or 49. I think I might do it 49 just to be safe. So we know now that what I think I'm going to want for the gathers is about 49 inches. I'm making it a little bit more just in case, because once I cut this lace, there's no turning back. So now that we know that we wanted 49 inches in length, which is going to go on the width of this garment, and we 7¼ inch wide, let's go on the flat and do that next. Another dilemma, and that is this section hasn't been draped yet, so I have to have enough lace to do that. And that section is, I'm just going to put my tape measure around the mid part of it, is about 30 inches. So I need about 30 inches by at least 8 inches or so, 7.5, 8 inches in length. And I have this one piece I'm going to show you next that I'm hoping to do 2 layers plus that midsection. So let me show you that on the flat now. So here I am. I folded this section here to the 25-inch marking, which is half, you know, we're saying 50 inches should be enough in length or width, whatever you want to call it. And I just have on the other end just about 30 inches. I'm going to try to see if that's going to work, because maybe I can do it over this in front of the seam on the back. So now I have this folded piece and I have the actual length that I need. Now I have to get the width. We said it was 7⅛ of an inch wide. So I'm going to go ahead then and put a marking of 7⅛ of an inch or so here with a pin, because you're not going to be able to use anything else. I'm just going to put 7⅛ all the way across like this. So I have a guide to actually cut this. So 7⅛ all the way across like that. And I'm going to go here as well all the way to the end and put a marking with my pins. Now I'm going to take my L square and I'm going to put it on that fold line just like that, so I can make sure that these lines are correct, and they are. That's a nice perfect angle, so I'm going to have the right width here. I'm going to take my L square off and I'm just going to cut a little bit above that line just like that on those pin marks, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to cut all the way across like that. This should be enough for the second layer. It's over 8 inches in width, so I'm going to be great there. Let me just go ahead and finish cutting this all the way across like that. And once I get to the very end here, on this side, I'm going to just cut this way. All right, whew, we got that. All right, so I'm going to take these pins off and I'm going to open it up. Let me fold this over here for a minute. And this is the right side. And I'm going to, on the iron, just fold it like this and press it flat, and I'll be right back. The press panel. Like I said, we're gonna put a gather and stitch about 1/2 inch from the edge, and that's going to be this panel here, and it is going over. It's hiding a little bit over there as well, so it's going to be hidden with this layer, and it's going to hopefully hide the other layer, but I'll show you that more once it's sewn. So let's get on the machine now. First I want to show you that I have this thicker thread, and the reason why I'm using this thicker thread, I'm going to use it in the bobbin, because when you're gathering something, threads break very easily, but if you put this on the bobbin when you're sewing, I'll put the information below, you can pull that thread and have less problems with breakage. I'll do that once I gather it. So I'm going to put right sides together like this, and I'm just going to sew about 1/4 inch down straight. I'm going to use a smaller stitch for that. And this machine is pretty old, so the back button doesn't work too well. Just sewing down 1/4 inch. All right, like that. I'm going to do it on both edges, and I'm going to turn it right sides like this. And I'm going to press that so that I can now then gather the top. Stitch at a number 4. I have a 1/2 inch marking here with my tape. I'm going to go ahead and put the gather stitch in now, just making it a 1/2 inch from the top. Like that, just holding it straight. More or no less. That'll affect the layers if I don't do it right. Alright, we're done with the gathers. Here's the layer, and I'm just going to take the thicker one, the thicker thread, which you'll be able to see. It's much thinner, it's much thicker than the other one, and I'm just going to gently pull it and move the gathers across this piece till I have it gathered to the actual finished width of the dress, if that makes sense. All right, I'll do that. I'll be right back. Here I am on the dress form, just trying to place it on there. I gathered it enough, I think, and I'm starting to pin it. You're going to see the seam allowance right now, but you won't when the finished product. I'm just going to pin it right on the actual seam line with the gathers like that. I'm just going to work on the right side of the body, and then just pin along that seam line with the gathers. And let's get those other pins and just put that line there where the gathers are. So this is falling nicely on that. This is coming away from the body. I can take less later if I feel like I need to. And I'm just pinning this seam, the seam allowance. I probably want more gathers on the side seam just so it sort of pulls out a little bit and gives a nice structure to it. But then we have this layer, and I'm just sort of stitching it with pins just on the seam line all the way around the body, if you can see that. The seam line, this is covering the seam line nicely. This also is covering the next seam line really nicely, and it's starting to take shape. It's starting to take shape. I probably will want to take less gathers. I'm not sure yet. That, I can decide later. But that's just starting to show you the gathers already there. Yay! So we got this layer. Pinning this along. This is the 4th layer. Again, just to see how I'm doing with this layer. Putting it on the center front as well. To finish off here. It's starting to come together. Here we are. Less if I decide later, but at least I have enough there to work with. Guys, we have the 4th layer on there. We have 3 more to go. And it is starting to take shape. It's starting to get exciting. I have to cut, the adjusting of the gathers and where I want them exactly is going to be, in the sewing process of the final product. But so we did it, guys. So we're getting there. I might want to do this one next, or I might continue the last 3 layers, because I might just put flowers over here and keep it with the sheer lining. I'm thinking about that. I'm not really sure. But we did it, guys. This is the 4th layer. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Put the bell notification so you don't miss any of these vlogs. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.